Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited that you're here, and I had a different sort of concept for a video today. So basically, oh my God, my chair is so creaky. I'm so sorry if you hear that at all throughout the video. So what I was thinking of doing for this video is basically more of a questionnaire sort of style because I have so many new people joining my channel lately. And if you've recently subscribed, I see you. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. And I'm just so excited to have you here. So I thought that while I was making more of these informational videos lately, I would slip in a more personal video. And so I asked ChatGPT to give me 15 questions, some personal, some professional, and I'm just going to answer them and we can get to know each other better. So thank you so much for coming back for another video, and let's get into it. The first question is, where are you from and how did your background influence where you are today? Okay, this is an interesting question. I was basically born in Minnesota, born and raised there, lived there until I was 18. Minnesota is a great place to grow up. I grew up in Minneapolis, so pretty big city vibes, mid-city vibes. I hated it growing up. I felt like it was too small, so like I was always pining to go to New York City. Now when I go back to Minnesota, I'm like, oh, this place is actually super cute. But the one thing that Minnesota really gave me growing up was a need to get out, which is what brought me to New York. And it made me work really hard to get into NYU and start my journey in New York. Which brings me to the second part of this question. I really feel like New York raised me. I feel like most of the growth that happened in my life happened starting when I was 18 and I moved to New York. So when it says like, where are you from and how did that influence you? I would say I'm from New York, and that has influenced every part of me. It's influenced my drive, my excitement for life. I've met so many incredible people living there, and I ended up doing 8 years there. I would have done so many more, but I just feel like New York gets to you after a while, and I just needed to come to LA. One, because most of my friends moved here, and then also because like I need warmth, I need space, all the things that you crave when you live in New York too long. The next thing is, what's something that most people don't know about you? I'm someone where I wear my heart on my sleeve. I wear my personality on my sleeve. So what's something that people don't know about me? Geez, I don't know. I love musical theater, but I feel like that's kind of a lame answer. I've run a marathon. I was born with my leg not attached to my hip and had to go through like a bunch of surgery when I was a baby, but now I'm like completely normal. I just like have a small scar. What do you do in your free time when you're not working on freelance projects? Well, I love to I do so many things. I love working out. I do Pilates a lot. I go for a lot of long walks. My husband and I go and play tennis quite often. But like my favorite thing to do is hang out with friends. I know that's like a very easy answer, but like working by myself all the time makes me crave that sort of social stimulation that other people might get from like going into a job. So I like my ideal week is like working and having social things to do like every night of the week if possible. I'm like that extroverted. What's one book or podcast that has impacted your life? Okay, so I would say the thing that's most applicable for this channel, because many books and podcasts have impacted my life, but the most applicable for this channel is the thing that kind of rerouted my life, I feel like. And that would be, it's called the Kathy Heller podcast now, and she also wrote a book called How to Quit Your Day Job. That used to be the name of the podcast, and she has provided me with so much guidance and permission to kind of pursue what I wanted to do in life. If you listen to her podcast now, I think she's gone a little too far into like a little bit more woo-woo mindfulness stuff, which is fine. But for me, I really liked her when she was a little bit more on like the mindset side of things. And she was like interviewing a bunch of like small scale entrepreneurs, stuff like that. And so I would really recommend the book, How to Quit Your Day Job, and the podcast, Kathy Heller. She has impacted my life a lot. She also has this quote that I live by, which is the opposite of depression is not happiness, it's purpose. And that is just I say it to myself all the time because it is true. Like I'm so like I am the most content and most excited about life when I'm following a purpose and my purpose. If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where and why? I'm going to give two answers. One, I love Paris. Basically, what you're getting from these is that I'm super basic, but I don't care. I don't care. I love Paris. I'll go back there like as many times as I can. Last time I was there 2 years ago with a friend, and we just had an incredible 2-week vacation. It was also that time period where I left my job and decided to pursue this whole new career. So Paris has a really special place in my heart. However, the other part of that is that Tokyo is like my favorite city in the world. So I would also go to Tokyo if I could, like tomorrow. What's a personal goal you're currently working towards that is not career related? Wow. Well, I mean, I guess my YouTube, because I keep falling off from it and then starting to post videos again and then falling off. So now that like I feel like a year and a half in to my freelancing journey, things are feeling super solid and super steady. I would say they have been for the last 6 months, but I also like recently moved, was traveling a lot this last year. So right now is when I feel fully able to commit to growing my YouTube, and that's my biggest goal right now. What's the best piece of advice that someone gave to you and why? I don't know. I guess I would just go back to that quote. Like the opposite of depression isn't happiness, it's purpose. That would be one of the best pieces of advice that someone ever gave me. So I'm just going to stick with that. What's a challenge you faced in your life that has helped you get to where you are today? My answer to that would also be going back to this freelance journey. I feel like the first year of building this freelance career was pretty rocky. It was tough and it was very financially unstable. Making totally different amounts of money every month, going through some bad clients and figuring out like what I wanted to do, what I didn't like about the business. So that was a challenge that I endured for a whole year and kept kind of moving forward and implementing my learnings. And like I said, that was kind of all of 2023. 2024 has been completely, so I guess I keep saying a year and a half. I've been doing this for nearly 2 years. 2024 has been me enjoying all the fruits of my labor. 2024 has been so perfect, so exciting, so stimulating every single day because I took 2023 to do the hard work and learn a lot of huge lessons. But I kind of always knew that this was my North Star. And when you're able to kind of identify your goals and work towards that North Star, that sort of effort always pays off. It always pays off. If you weren't doing marketing, what other career path would you have chosen? I don't even know. I just kind of fell into marketing because when I was starting NYU, I didn't want to like go into school undecided, and I felt like marketing was like broad enough. And then from doing school and internships, I realized I was really good at it. But if I had to do another career, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'd be quite a good, like, therapist or mentor or something like that. And, I feel like maybe I'll be able to bring in qualities of that into this channel, but that would probably be my go-to other thing. I love just, like, very people-based businesses, and you would think that me working as, like, a freelance marketer, it wouldn't be as people-based. But I do like really love all my clients and care about them. And so I think that like career paths that have to do with connection, I love. Maybe I'll be good at sales. I don't know. What's one fun fact about you that always surprises people? I mean, I guess the fact that I'm married takes a lot of people by surprise. Less and less so now that I'm like 27, although that's still pretty young. But I got married when I was 24. And so it was always like a weird thing at parties when I was like, oh yeah, like I'm married, and people would be like, why? But no regrets. I have loved every moment of it. So yeah, that's one fun fact. All right, so now we're transitioning to the last 5 questions, which are more freelance marketing centric. What inspired you to start your freelance marketing career? Wow. Well, I always kind of knew that I wanted to start my own sort of like consultancy or agency, which I think eventually I'll expand. Right now it is just me. I I want to be really intentional about when I do start growing this and hiring people. But what inspired me to start it was I had a marketing job that gave me a lot of responsibility at a really young age. It was a startup that I was working for that was growing pretty quickly. And, I was put in a lead marketing role and I loved it. But I also then was given the freedom to kind of consult with other brands on the side. My work didn't care and I just wanted to learn as much as I could. So I was also consulting for some other brands. And from there, I realized that like I really like kind of splitting my time between different brands. It makes me feel the most energized to like work across different projects. And yeah, and so I don't know, it just always gave me like a lot of excitement. I also think that like I have a very like entrepreneurial spirit. I have tried, starting drop shipping stores. I started a jewelry brand. I was selling artwork and like prints on Etsy for a while. I've just like tried all of those like typical things and I enjoyed them, but it never really like took off or, excited me. And this is something that really, really excites me. How did you land your first freelance client and what was that experience like? Well, as I mentioned, I was consulting for some brands on the side of my full-time job before I started this, but none of those really carried over. By the last year, I was at my full-time job. It got so crazy that I had to stop consulting for other brands and just focus on that position. When I started my freelance career, my first client was this women's group, and I probably won't give any more details than that. It was a great experience. It wasn't a good fit. That was my first step into the freelancing world. I worked with them for, I don't know, like 7 months, I would say. But I realized that like my talents and my excitement was much more in like direct to consumer products like fashion, skincare, food, and less so in like the membership group industry. I realized I didn't say how I landed them. I basically stalked them out and like reached out like 3 separate times in order to get their attention. And I let them know that I was super passionate about what they were doing because I was at the time. I mean, bringing women together doing badass business things was really exciting to me. Like I said, it just like ended up not being what I was passionate about. But it came from me reaching out a ton and then finally giving me an interview. We met in person for lunch and hit it off. And that was how I got my first client. What's been the most rewarding part of your freelance journey to date? There's just so many rewarding parts, but I think one of the things that like day to day is so great is not having anyone who needs you like online. I never like worry about being on Slack at a certain time. I do have Slack with some of my clients, but it's never something that like people are tracking. And I feel like if I need to take a day off, I can do that. I don't need to like submit a day off. I just can do that and make sure that like everything is taken care of. So the sort of trust in my time is one of the most rewarding things. What's the hardest lesson you've learned since starting your freelance business? I think a hard lesson that I had to learn starting like a year into doing this was the skill of negotiating. I think as women, sometimes we have a harder time with it. And also like, I don't know, at my other job, like I was getting raises kind of in normal patterns and like I was happy with it, but I've never had to actually like sit down and ask people for more money. And with my first year doing my freelance marketing, I was definitely not charging as much as I should have just because like I was testing the waters. Then when my second year started, I upped my rates quite a bit because I knew what I deserved. I kind of had a better idea of the industry. And so having those conversations were hard. I had to have like a lot of conversations with my husband because he's so good at it. And he's really helped me along kind of building my business. And that was like a big thing I had to learn. But now I think I'm pretty good at it. Obviously, it's always something you have to kind of keep refining, but I think I've nailed it pretty well. Now we are at our last question. What advice would you give to someone thinking about starting a freelance career? The biggest advice I would give you is that if you don't have really good like self-discipline and motivation, you should not try at this industry. Like I think there's some really smart people out there who just can't keep themselves motivated, and when left to their own devices and left without specific hours they have to be online, or just have these like deliverables that like maybe it's 2 weeks until that deliverable is due. And so some people might leave it till the day before and try and cram in all of the work at once. That sort of behavior is like something you can't do with this career. So unless you're able to get yourself online most days and put in really hard work and give really valuable attention and time to those clients, it might be better to just have a normal day job that can kind of keep you on track, because it is something that you really have to challenge yourself with and have a lot of trust in yourself to get those things done. Wow, okay, well, those are all the questions. I hope that you enjoy this video. I definitely want to keep bringing in more content about like me and my life. I'm about to move and I'm going to do an apartment tour. It is such a beautiful apartment. I can't wait to show you. I'm at a temporary place right now that ends at the end of this month. So that'll be something. But yeah, I'll just keep bringing in some personal videos as well, because I love connecting with you guys and getting to know each other better, like I said. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.